Well, these just came in the door. These are some servos. Hopefully, they'll work to solve my pan and tilt problem. They're supposed to be Metal Gear 270-degree servos. We will see here. I really do hope they are what they say they are. If I can get them to work, I think I will be able to fly in the morning and break my pan and tilt and be able to come home, print out a new one, and be flying again in the afternoon without any delay. That's my goal. Well, right off the bat, I don't truly understand. There's 4 wires coming out of this servo. Got your normal black, red, and white. Then there's a 4th one right here, a brown one. And on this end, there's also your standard 3 wire and a 4th one. I don't understand what this 4th one is for. Boy, very, very strange. But it does say 270 degrees on them. I'm going to try it, ignoring that 4th wire, and see what happens. And that's the way they work on my servo tester. That is not 270 degrees. That's about the normal 90. That's hooked up just with the 3 normal wires. So I put one of the servo tuners, that's what they call the new ones, instead of a travel tuner, I guess they call it, instead of a servo stretcher that they call their old ones. And with that, with that on it, giving it a larger pulse width, it does seem to go more or less 270. Just using the 3 wires that I'm accustomed to. I still don't know what that 4th wire is on this creature. And I think with the field of view on the camera being 160, that I'm going to have direct sight behind the airplane. Let's see if we can mount it up and prove that. Well, Houston, we have another little problem here. There's not really through holes in this like in the original one. And the inside mounting holes don't line up with my pan and tilt base. On the original transmitter, you had 4 through holes that lined up perfectly to mount this in here. Now, all is not lost on this, because the same holes exist. It's just they're being used with nuts on the back to hold these plates on. This one for the antenna, and the front 2 hold on the camera MIPI cable. I'm going to have to do the same thing I did on the little 5-inch. I'm going to have to take the nut and screw out, make a longer one, use a longer one, and hopefully hope that'll hold those plates on too. Isn't that crazy? And here is exactly my problem. This little standoff, whatever you want to call it, that's built into this 3D print, broke off while I was working with it. The layers go this way, therefore any stress going to pull them layers right apart. So I think the screw must have cocked a little bit and just broke half of that off. But I'll have another one printed in less than 2 hours. It doesn't take long at all. And that's what I really need here. The ability to help myself without having to wait on others. So this will be thrown away. I'll print out a new one with all 4 of those like I want them. There we go. New part printed. 1 hour and 12 minutes. That's the kind of turnaround I need. A little thin right in there. I probably cut that hole too big, but such be life. So I'm just taking 4 M2 screws up through the bottom of this real quick. See if they're all 4 sticking up in the air. There we go. And this is where I'll mount the walk snail. So there it is, just mounted. And hopefully those standoffs under here, try that. Standoffs under here will be tight enough to hold that plate on for that MIPI cable. And now all 4 of the tops will be nuts instead of screwing a nut the way they come originally. I got to get the antenna on there first. So there's the nuts on the front too. Now I have to put the UFL connector on the antenna. Probably don't have this in the camera right now, sorry. There we go. So now the antenna's on. Now this little plate will go over that like that. And now we'll do the last 2 nuts real quick. So there it is, mounted completely with the antenna. Don't have a way to keep the antenna yet. This will be the side that wires to the flight controller, and then this opening I made in it will let me get the USB connector in there when I need it. So that works really well. There's the pan part. I attached this servo, use the wheel to it with 2 screws. Now I'm going to take a little Dremel tool here and go in there right like that and cut those 2 screws off. All right, there we go. Now no parts stick down to get in the way of it rotating. And there we have the pan servo mounted, screwed down. And there's the center screw holding that to the pan servo. So there it is. Whoops, upside down. All assembled. This is the little USB. I ordered 2 more of these. They're $3 a piece from Walk Snail, just to arrive whenever. So I'll have one for my other Pro and a spare. Don't understand why they don't come with the standalone transmitter. So this is the tilt servo. This is the pan servo. Like I say, this is the USB. I'll just go ahead and pull that off of there. You don't use that except for when you're taking files that are saved on the transmitter inside here. What else? Okay, right here on this side is this little connector needs to go in, and that's how we hook to the flight controller. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to take this loose from the SkyHunter. That was how the original Walk Snail was connected to the flight controller. So now this cable can go back to the original Walk Snail. It goes right there. That's how it connects to a flight controller. That pigtail's already made up for this one. We'll set that aside. And I have to make another pigtail for these 4 wires to go to this connector right here. And then we'll be able to install it fully and test it fully. And we have life on the new Walk Snail Pro on the SkyHunter II. I must have hooked the wires up correctly.
It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
Oh boy, fun time. This servo doesn't seem to be working correctly. Other than that, everything's cool. Oh man, what a bummer. I guess I'll pull it out of there. Okay, I replaced the servo. Now we have tilt. Down and up. Needs adjusting, etc. And we also still have pan. I painted the front hatch this morning in preparation for installing the pan and tilt onto it. I think I'm going to let that dry until tomorrow while I do some other things I have to do. And hopefully soon, this week anyway, the physical build of this one will get finished. Well, the paint dried. Oops. And I cut a hole in the front for the servo to go down into, and I just plan on hot gluing it all to this area. And I'm going to put all of the wires through that hole for this, and we'll see how that works. There it is. It's not pretty. Matter of fact, I'm not sure I even got that on there straight, but that's me. All the wires come out the bottom, signal, power, to two servos. So it's pretty clean on top. We will see its rotation when I do the software. And that's the way it looks on the airplane. And basically that completes the physical build of this one. Finally, boy, it took a couple of months or more for that servos to get satisfied. The first ones I ordered never arrived. Waited 2 months on them, so I did a different solution. I did see on the servos that, as the label says, with feedback, analog feedback. So I think that's what that fourth wire is on there. So we're going to call this build complete, and I thank you guys.